Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old ways, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. I want to share 2 really good recipes with y'all today. You know, we've been talking about doing some different recipes for our holiday tables this year. Something just a little bit different maybe than the usual. And I love casseroles. So I've got a casserole here that's been around. This recipe's, you can call it a vintage recipe. It's been around for a long time. It is Johnny Marzetti. And a lot of y'all have made this before for potlucks, especially church potlucks. It's something that goes over really good. But I put a little different twist on mine. You can pretty much make it different ways. But this is a casserole that's a hit with adults and kids. And we're going to make a side dish. And this is a delicious coleslaw. You got to have coleslaw. It doesn't matter what you're having. You got to have coleslaw. To me, you just have to have it. And this is a really famous coleslaw. And if y'all have never made this Texas coleslaw, you've got to. You've got to put it on your holiday table. It's delicious. So let's get started with our recipes. Johnny Marzetti. You know, there's all different kinds of ways that you can really put this casserole together. And there's really not any way that you can really mess it up, tell you the truth. Different things you can add to it. Put your own spices in there, what you like. The different pastas, you can use any kind of pasta. I'm going to be using penne pasta today. You can use the rotini, you can use rigatoni, you can use elbow macaroni, you can even use the little spirals. You can use any kind of macaroni that you have at the house in your pantry that you need to use up, or just what you like the best. I like the penne pasta because it has the hole through it, and the meat sauce, the meat, the cheeses will go, they'll just kind of ooze right into this pasta. That's why I like using this. Now a lot of times, like at some of the church potlucks and stuff, they'll make the Johnny Marzetti and they'll make it with egg noodles, and that's delicious too. Not spaghetti noodles, but egg noodles, and it's really good. And it makes the casserole go a long ways. Now, this is going to make a 9 by 13. You can double this recipe if you want to make a really big pan of it to take to the Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, or any kind of potluck like that. So back here on the back burner, I've got some water boiling, and I'm going to get my pasta going first off. And I've just got, this is 2 cups of dry penne pasta. So whichever kind of pasta you choose to use, I'm using 2, maybe a little over 2 cups of dry pasta. And I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit. It was boiling and I kind of turned it down. I'm gonna put a little salt in my water. You know, y'all have heard me say so many times that when I go to a potluck, it don't matter if it's holidays or what it is, Miss Lori always goes for the casseroles. I just love them. I really do. Okay, I'm going to put my pasta in there. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a stir. I'm gonna let that come to a boil, and I'm gonna let that cook till it's just like al dente. It's not all the way cooked, but pretty much to where you don't want it to be overcooked. So we got our meat. The meat I'm using is a pound of ground beef, and I'm also going to be putting in a half a pound of Italian sausage. Now, you can use sweet Italian, you can use hot, you can even use a breakfast sausage, or you can just use all hamburger meat. That's up to you, what you have in your pantry, because either way it's going to be delicious. If you have a pound of just plain ground pork, you can make you some Italian sausage out of that. Put your seasoning, your fennel and your Italian seasonings in there, and make your own. So, but what I'm going to be using is a pound of ground beef and a half a pound of Italian sausage. I'm going to get my fire on. And because that my ground beef is pretty lean, I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in my pan. This is ground beef that from a cow that we had processed, and there's not a whole lot of fat in it. I'm gonna stir my pasta just a little bit here. It's trying to stick on me. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Now y'all can see that I'm kind of turned around in my kitchen. But I've got this portable little island. It's got wheels on it. And I wanted to be able to get right here to my stove and go back and forth without... If I'm over this way, I have to constantly turn around to get to my stove. So this works better, I think. So we got our meat. I'm going to go ahead and put my ground beef in my pan and get it cooking. Now a lot of people will... I'm going to be putting bell pepper. I'm going to be putting a little bit of onion. And a lot of people will cook their bell pepper and onion first. The way I do mine is I cut mine up and I cook it with my meat. I just like it that way. You can do it either way. Now, I'm going to cut up a couple of bell peppers. These bell peppers, I went out. We have had a couple hard freezes here. I think some of y'all have had some too. And we were out of town because a lot of y'all seen that we had a new grandbaby. And when I got back, I had to get out there and I had to get my bell peppers picked before they got runt. So I had a lot of bell peppers, and I want to get some of them used up, and some of them I put in the pantry. And these bell peppers have a lot of seeds in them. I've already kept a bunch of seeds back. But I'm just going to take my bell peppers and I'm just going to slice them up. Then I'm going to dice them. And I'm just going to start putting them in here with my meat. This is just the way that I've always cooked. A lot of recipes I tell you to saute your onions and bell peppers and then separately from your meat. And sometimes I do that. Most of the time I just do it all together. Have y'all already got your holiday menu planned? I've been thinking about it in my head, but I don't really have it all planned out. But I can tell you, I don't think I'm going to have ham for Thanksgiving this time. Of course, I will have chicken and dressing. I'll always have a chicken and dressing. I'm thinking about doing chicken and dumplings. And I'll have I'm going to look and see how much they are. I may do a turkey breast, and if turkey breasts are just way too high this year, what I'm going to do is I've got some whole chickens in the freezer, and I'm just going to get them out, and I'll probably just do a smothered chicken, because I'm pretty much going to make my holiday dinner and most of like my desserts out of what I have in my pantry and freezer. And I hope that most of y'all can do the same. But let me tell y'all, don't ever think that you have to put yourself in debt, or you have to worry to death about, you know, how much it's going to cost to do a Thanksgiving dinner, because you don't have to. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to go out and spend $30 on a turkey, $30, $35 on a ham. You've already got almost $100 worth of meat going on there by the time you pay taxes and everything else. You don't have to do that. You know, I'd rather have a good hen or a good chicken than I would a turkey anyways, and that's just Miss Lori. Most of my family either eat drumsticks or they eat the breast. If I do dark meat, I put it in my dressing, and I use it, dark meat and white meat, in my dumplings. And I can take two chickens, fresh chickens, and I can cut them up, and I can cook them, braise them, and I can do it right on top of the stove, a whole couple chickens. I can brown them, then I can put them back in my pan, put me a little water, butter, seasoning in there, rosemary, whatever. I can turn it on low, and I put the lid on it, and I can let that chicken braise like that, or I can stick it in the 325 oven, and it's going to be no time that that's going to be done. And I've not had to worry about spending the money on a big old turkey, getting that big old turkey, you know, in the oven. Now, don't get me wrong, I've cooked turkeys for many years, but I'm just trying to give y'all, you know, ideas that, you know, times are hard. You don't have to go out and spend so much money trying to get a Thanksgiving dinner on the table. If you've got cornmeal and you've got eggs and you've got a chicken, you can make you some chicken and dressing. And there's just not anything any better to a Southern family than chicken and dressing. It just don't take much to make it, and you can make a big old pan of it, and it goes a long ways. If you're not wanting to do ham because you eat ham all the time, or maybe your family aren't big ham eaters, there's so much other you can do. You can make a huge couple of meatloaves. You can make a roast with potatoes, or just a roast by itself. Some people do briskets, and casseroles. Do all kinds of casseroles and side dishes like green beans and your corn, and, you know, just your potatoes, your scalloped potatoes, your mashed potatoes, your hash brown casseroles, your cold salads. Just do one of each. Don't go out and spend all that money on meat. Do with what you've got, or just buy you a couple of chickens, or maybe you've raised your own chickens. Maybe you've raised your own turkeys. My family are not so in love with turkey that I have to go buy a big old turkey. I can make my chicken and dressing out of a good fat hen, and out of some chicken that I've got in the freezer already. So I've cut up just, what I cut up, Yeah, 2 kind of medium-sized bell peppers. Now I'm going to cut up a small onion. Now, if you want to make this kid-friendly, a lot of kids don't, like all these vegetables in their stuff, but this is really a good kid-friendly casserole. And most of your onion and your bell pepper is going to be cooked up anyways. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this whole small onion up. And this onion is not making me cry, and I am so surprised. These are the sweet onions, Valdelias. A lot of times I'll buy them and they still make me cry, and they ain't very sweet, and I don't know why. And as far as your desserts and stuff like that, just make it simple. You can go to the Dollar Tree and you can buy chocolate chips. You can even buy, you can buy your marshmallow cream if you're wanting to make candy, fudge. There's a lot of things. So there's a lot of people that won't buy anything from the Dollar Tree or the dollar store, some of it. But you know what? There's a lot of people that don't have that choice. And they're on a very tight budget, especially this time of year. So going to the Dollar Tree sometimes is the only way that they can get through the holidays. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful when you can do that and make a wonderful meal for your family. To me, you have accomplished a lot more than if you went and spent a bunch of money, on all that stuff that was unnecessary. So I'm browning my meat. 2 medium bell peppers and a small onion. And it smells so good in here, as always. My pasta's back here cooking. I'm going to check it here in a minute. Now, the recipe always, has always called for 2 cups of dry pasta. If you don't feel like it's enough pasta, put you another cup in there. It ain't going to hurt nothing. But you've got all this meat and stuff that's going to be a filler with it, so. So I'm going to let my pasta cook for just a little bit longer. Not much longer. Now I've also got 8 ounces of mushrooms. I would rather have fresh mushrooms, but I live so far from a store, and I can't just run and get me some fresh mushrooms. So I've got canned mushrooms, and that's what I'm going to use. I've got 16 ounces of tomato sauce, and I've got 8 ounces, well, no, let me take that back. This is a 15-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. And let's see, I'm going to take me a couple of big cloves of garlic. This is my own garlic that I've got it in the refrigerator, and I'm keeping it in. This is grapeseed oil is what I'm keeping it in. And it does a really good job. I've got several jars just like this. So you can do it in olive oil, grapeseed oil, just gonna mash my garlic. Woo! That one went in the floor, y'all. I'll have to pick that one up here in a minute and wash it off. I'm not gonna waste it. It slid right off there. Real life, y'all. Real life. I've got 2 big cloves of garlic here. I told Danny and I've told my kids, if they know of anybody that doesn't have family, you know, that lives around here, maybe an elderly person or, you know, somebody that just needs a good Thanksgiving dinner, to let them know that they can come sit at our table and eat with us. So I would say, you know, y'all do the same. Invite somebody in that you know that needs a good hot meal, that just needs that company at holiday time. Okay, that's 2 pretty good sized cloves of garlic. That's probably a good tablespoon. And y'all know how much I love my garlic. My meat and my peppers are pretty much done. I'm going to take my tablespoon of minced garlic. I'm going to let that cook for just a minute. My pasta is done. I've got it turned off. I'm going to take my mushrooms, whether you're using canned or fresh mushrooms. If you have any grease or anything left in your pan, you go ahead and get that off of there. You can either strain all this or just kind of push it to the side and take your paper towel and just kind of dab it in there to get that little bit of grease. So I've got Italian seasoning, and I'm going to go ahead and put some on my meat. I'm going to put about a teaspoon on my meat. Now I'm going to add my 15-ounce can of petite tomatoes. Now y'all notice that I haven't added any salt to this. I'm going to wait and I'm going to taste it because I don't want it to be too salty. So I'm going to add my 15 to 16 ounces of tomato sauce. Strained tomatoes, tomato sauce. Now all I'm really going to be doing is at this point just heating this up a little bit. So I'm going to taste this. It really is good. I'm not going to add any salt to it, but that's up to y'all. In the recipe, I'll put salt, but that will be optional. I think you need to taste it. I don't feel like I need any salt. I'm going to put another teaspoon of Italian seasoning, so that's about 2 teaspoons. Even though I put fresh garlic, I'm going to put another half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Let's see. I've got a little bit of onion powder here. You know, when you're making a dish like this, even though you're taking it, you know, for a potluck or whatever, you're going to taste it and you're going to kind of make it your own, you know. I try my best to make it kid friendly too, because we have a lot of kids, and I'm sure y'all have a lot of kids too. I'm going to put about a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Now I'm just going to let this warm through. If you want to, you can put a little bit more fennel or some crushed red peppers in here. But then again, it being a potluck or holiday on the table, you've got to be careful with some of that stuff. Okay, this is pretty much done. Like I said, it just needs to be kind of warm through. I'm going to strain my noodles, and then we'll get all this together and we'll get it in our baking dish, and we're going to get it in the oven. Okay, I've got 3 different kinds of cheeses here, but what I want y'all to know that you use whatever cheese that you've got. But I had, in my refrigerator, I had a block of mozzarella. Low moisture mozzarella is what I had, and I shredded it up. There's probably probably 2.5 cups here. I wanted 2 cups and probably got about 2.5 cups here. And I've got right here, I've got about a half a cup of finely grated Parmesan Romano is what this is. And then right here I've got some ricotta. Now, if you don't have ricotta, you don't have to put ricotta in it. Don't run to the grocery store and try to think you got to have it. I mean, it's going to be good, no doubt, but you don't have to. You can use cottage cheese. Do you have cottage cheese? You can even replace the cottage cheese and ricotta with sour cream. That will be good. And I can tell you that I've never done that before, but I'll tell you who taught me that, and that is Jay Morrell. Her YouTube channel is Large Family Table, I believe, Jay Morrell. And she uses a lot of sour cream in her Italian dishes that she puts in her freezer because it works, and she says it's really good. So anyway, sour cream works too. I've got a 9x13 baking dish here, and I've got it sprayed. Now you can also do this in a slow cooker, and that is wonderful to know, because if you can put all this in a slow cooker and put it on just warm or low for a little bit, you got it out of your way, and it's just gonna, all these are going to infuse together. Your cheese is going to melt, and it's right there and it's done. You don't have to put it in the oven or anything. So it can be done in the slow cooker. You'll do it, you'll put it together just like I'm fixing to do in this 9x13 dish here. So I've got my dish sprayed. I'm going to switch this around just a little bit. Now this is pretty meaty. Really good stuff here. If you've got a bunch of picky kids, you can leave out the bell peppers They don't like mushrooms. Don't put mushrooms in it. And it's still going to be good with all the cheeses and everything. Because most kids love pasta. But this is really going to be something that the adults are going to love too. Okay. And we're just going to layer this. I'm going to put all my noodles. And you know what? If you don't want to layer it, and you just want to stir it all together, you can do that too. It's just almost like an easy way to... I want you to look at that. I must have had some elbow macaroni mixed up in with my penne pasta. I wouldn't doubt it, not one bit. Okay, there's our pasta. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my grated Parmesan and I'm going to put that over my noodles. Now I know a lot of y'all have made Johnny Marzetti, and you've got your own recipes. This is a vintage recipe. This has been around for many years. And like I said, you can use so many different ingredients in it and it still comes out wonderful. Okay, now I'm going to put half of my mozzarella cheese on top of the noodles. And I'm going to put the rest of my sauce on top of the cheese. Now really and truly, this is something that will come together pretty quick. But you know, when you're making, like I said before, when you're making videos, it seems like it takes that much longer, but it really doesn't. It's just that we're doing step by step and it just seems like it takes a little longer. So I want to get all this goodness out of this pan. Okay, so we got our meat on top of our noodles. At this point, while it's baking for 45 minutes, I'm not going to put the mozzarella cheese on top yet. I'm going to let it cook for about 40 minutes, and then I'll take the top off and then put the cheese on there and let it melt. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take some of my ricotta and I'm just going to dab it on there. And I'm just going to kind of poke it down. And as this cooks, this ricotta is going to melt down in there. Just like that. I'm going to put parchment paper and put foil over it. 350 oven, 40 minutes. If you're doing this in a slow cooker, about 1.5 hours on low. Okay, we're going to take the top off of it. It's been in there for 40 minutes at 350, and you see how that ricotta has just kind of melted down in there. And I'm going to take the rest of my mozzarella. Now if you don't have mozzarella and you've got like any kind of shredded cheese, really, it's all going to be good. And I'm just going to stick this back in the oven for about 5 more minutes till this is good and melted. And then our dish should be done. You can see our Johnny Marzetti is done. It's sitting here. Gonna let it set for just a few minutes before we plate it up. We're gonna make a coleslaw. This is the Texas slaw. This is from the famous Cattlemens restaurant, Texas. This coleslaw is so good. Now I don't know if you've ever ate at Cattlemens restaurant in Texas, but they're known for their pineapple coleslaw. I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute. No, this is a really good coleslaw for a holiday table, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, doesn't matter, or if it's just 4th of July picnic, anything. This is a good coleslaw. And y'all know that Miss Lori loves her coleslaws. But I don't have to stick to just one kind of coleslaw. I like all kinds of them. I've got, I think the bag, I can't remember now if it's 16 ounces or 14 ounces. So anywhere from 14 to 16 ounces of your mixed, already shredded coleslaw in a bag. And that helps you out a lot. Now, a lot of times I'll just shred up my own. But you know what? Sometimes we just need that little bit of help. And so just grab you a bag of already mixed, shredded coleslaw. That'll give you a head start. So we got that, and we got 20 ounces of crushed pineapple, and I drained it, but I reserved 2 tablespoons of the juice. Now, some of the recipes for pineapple coleslaw, they put pineapple chunks. I like to use the crushed pineapples. So 20 ounces of pineapple. I'm going to put just a little bit of pepper on top of my slaw. Now in my bowl over here, I'm going to put a half a cup of milk, the 2 tablespoons of pineapple juice. I've got 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Some of the recipes call for brown sugar. If you want to use brown sugar, that's good too. I've got 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And I've got a whole cup of mayonnaise. If you're not a mayonnaise person, you can use like Miracle Whip, something like that. Or you can use sour cream. Or you can use half and half. Half mayonnaise, half sour cream. I'm always thinking of this stuff, you know. Okay, I'm also going to put just a little bit of pepper in my dressing too. I'm not going to put any salt just yet. And we're just going to mix this dressing up. And this does make quite a bit of dressing. Now you can double this recipe and make a big old bowl of this. I guarantee you they're going to eat it. You double this up with a big old pan of homemade baked beans with this coleslaw. It goes together so well. So don't never snarl your nose that you know it's something till you've tried it. I love pineapple. I like pineapple on my pizza. I like pineapple with pork. You just want to make sure that this is stirred up really and get it mixed up really good. Now I'm going to pour this over my slaw. And what do I want to stir this with? And you just stir this up. It makes a really pretty slaw too. Now, after you get this stirred up, if you want to, you can add you a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of poppy seeds. You can dress it up a little bit with a little bit of dried cranberries, a cut up apple, some pecans or walnuts, the sky's the limit. This is kind of like your base part here. But I'm going to tell you something. It's good. I love coleslaw. I like it anytime you want to serve it up. And I love it on a potluck table with all the other side dishes. So there we go. Y'all, I love pepper in my coleslaw, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just going to add enough to taste. Just make sure you get it stirred up really, really good. Whoops. Mr. Brown's coming in the background. Might have him taste it. What do y'all think? We'll have him taste supper here in just a minute. Because everything that I've made tonight, we're going to be eating for supper. Can you hand me a spoon, Mr. Brown? I'm going to taste this coleslaw. This is a famous coleslaw from Texas. It's from the Cattlemens restaurant. You know what's in it?
No, what?
Pineapple.
Pineapple?
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Well, there you go. You see how simple that was. And it's delicious. So I'm going to plate me and Mr. Brown up some supper. And y'all be thinking about if y'all want to put this on your holiday recipe list. So let's plate us up some. We got one egg. We got one egg tonight.
Boneless chicken.
Our chickens are not pulling their weight right now, are they?
No. They're going through a molt, which is crazy to me to be going through a molt this time of year, but they are.
They are. Okay. I'm ready to eat. So good stuff.
I really like good coleslaw, and that's really good.
Really good. Even goes good together, don't it?
Oh yeah.
But it's just two dishes for something different for a holiday table. Casseroles, coleslaws, and good company, huh?
That would be a meal.
That's what it is tonight, huh? Tell everybody bye. We gotta go.
That slaw is really kind of sweet and tangy. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I love good coleslaw.
I do too.
Mm.
We'll see everybody. Couple of days.
Everybody be good. We're gonna be good, maybe.
Except for Mr. Brown, he's rotten.
I'm rotten.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I wanted to show y'all my fall tree. This is just a tree from Walmart. I needed a really small tree. This is a 7-foot pre-lit some kind of fir, but it's just the right size. But I love doing fall trees. And everything that you see on this tree is from the Dollar Tree. Isn't that pretty? I just love fall colors. And Dollar Tree had just the right colors. And a few little hoot owls. Little scarecrows. All the flowers. The bows. Everything. Pumpkins. All from the Dollar Tree. I think it looks pretty neat. So I'll leave this up till Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving, I'll decorate it for Christmas.